What's going on, everyone? I'm Chase, and welcome back to another review. And the movie I want to take a look at right now is Last Night in Soho. Now, this is the latest film from Edgar Wright. I'm a huge fan of his, so let's break this down. An aspiring fashion designer is mysteriously able to enter the 60s where she encounters a dazzling wannabe singer. But the glamour is not all it appears to be, and the dreams of the past start to crack and splinter into something darker. Very cool plot. I love it. When you watch the trailer, it definitely has, influences of like 70s horror from, I believe, Italy, like Italian horror. So, because I've seen like original films like Suspiria and other D'Argento films. And so I'm assuming that's where the influence is coming from. But that's what the trailer kind of reminded me of. And I was super excited to see it. Something completely different for Edgar Wright, doing a horror comedy, horror comedy and action, another, I guess, science fiction comedy, then action heist film, and now this is a straight up psychological horror film. So I was excited to see Edgar Wright kind of go into that territory. So here we are. I appreciate this movie. I really do. I don't really know if I want to rewatch it again. This is one of those films from Edgar Wright, and I forgot about Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, but this is one of those films for me that I don't really find any rewatch in it. It was one of those things to where, like, it was great when I watched it. I appreciate a lot of the technical aspects about it, and some of the performances were good. The story got interesting at some points, but I just don't really feel the need to go back and rewatch it, which is really striking to me because Edgar Wright movies are so well edited and they're just so much fun, or there's just so much energy injected into them that you have to rewatch it, and like they fly by, and they're always a good time, whether you see it 20 times or 200 times. But for me, this is a one and done situation. Okay, so let's dive into this and let's talk about Edgar Wright. I think the problem with this movie is that Edgar Wright brings his usual stylish flair to the film. The editing is on point, and it is, there's a punch to every single scene. Like he knows how to frame up stuff. He knows how to stage a scene. There's movement involved. There's always something going on to keep your eye at bay and to have this visual feast before your eyes. That's not any different with this one. The production design is stellar. The locations are just absolutely astounding for like what they're kind of going for, with like this gothic horror vibe and this mystery that's going on around it. I thought all that was great. I think what falls flat for me is the story. The story overall, I understand its messaging behind it, and how men took advantage of like burlesque workers, or took advantage of anyone in the sex worker industry, and like it's really disgusting stuff. And to see the women fight back and take back what is rightfully theirs, and their dignity is being restored, like that, all that is great. I really like that stuff. But for me, the mystery just, it kind of seems a little flat. And when the ending comes, I'm just like, okay, I kind of figured that that's what was going on. And when it's actually revealed, it doesn't have the impact that Edgar Wright and his co-writer Christie, I think that they had. For me, it just, I don't know, it kind of deflated the whole movie, to be honest with you. And so, not a huge fan of the way it wrapped up and the way it revealed the killer and just everything about it. But everything leading up to that point, I was enjoying. It's a good little mystery. Thomas and Mackenzie's character, Eloise, she's being warned not to go to London to go to school because it's riddled with crime, and she's like, no, it's great, like it's gonna work out. And we're seeing the story happen, and Anya Taylor-Joy's character, of also her having dreams and aspirations and going there and realizing that there is a dark side to London that not a lot of people talk about, and then she ends up going on a dark path, and Thomasin McKenzie's trying to figure this out because she's the one that's being projected into the past. So all that stuff is fascinating to a point. And I was on this journey, and I wanted Eloise to figure out who was going to do all this, and I was on the journey with her because her performance, Thomasin McKenzie's performance, is quite good. And Anya Taylor-Joy, she, I've seen better, but like I appreciated her. Matt Smith, it's whatever. Diana Rigg, rest in peace. I thought she delivered probably my second best performance. Really just this maniacal kind of sweet little lady. Like, you think she's fine, but like deep down, like she will kill you if you say the wrong thing. But yeah, I really enjoyed the mystery to a point, but the ending just kind of just fell flat for me. Didn't really work. Some of the performances, like I said, do carry along the film enough to keep me interested, but it's not anything stellar when it comes to performances. And when you think about other Edgar Wright films and just the impeccable comedic timing of his performances and just the very likable characters that he writes into his films, and like they're goofy but they're also loving, and like there's just so much going on with the characters that you just love to watch them. For this one, it was just like, hey, these were solid performances. That's about it. And then one of my other favorites, Michael Ajao. I hope I pronounced that correctly. He plays John. What a great co-lead he was. He was super charismatic, and I was like, I want to see this guy in everything. So there's that. So yeah, I mean, there's really not much to say. Like I said, music, editing, production design, some performances, good little mystery. Ending kind of falls flat. Doesn't have rewatchability factor. So I'm kind of going back and forth on whether like the good stuff and the bad stuff. But I think if you're an Edgar Wright fan, I think you should still check this out. Just for me personally, just kind of middle of the road. And to be honest, it's at the bottom of my list if I were to make an Edgar Wright films list right now. But definitely some interesting stuff. Definitely some influences of European horror films for sure. Even some of the shots that were framed, I was like, that seems like something that's ripped out of or inspired by like Argento. So, I like Edgar Wright's love for that type of era of film, and I'm glad he made something. And I would like to see more from him when it comes to this genre. So, let me know down below what you thought of Last Night in Soho. Tell me that I'm wrong. If you loved it, if you hated it, whatever, let me know down below. I want to read your thoughts. And that will do it for this review. I'm Chase Lee, and tune in next time for whatever I review next. I will see you guys later.